Hello, and happy Sunday. My name is KJ Hamus. This is your first time joining me, but welcome to our Sunday evening yin yoga class. So, a couple things to need for class, same things as always, blocks or books or block equivalents, pillow or bolster, and then a towel, a blanket, whatever you've got around. So I'm really excited to be here with you all on this Sunday. I like to think of our Sunday yin class as a way to check back in before we're going into the week and reset. Really let this be a good rest to carry into the week so we can take the rest of our practice with us. So tonight we're going to be working on a few shapes that are going to help us tap into our second chakra, our sacral chakra, which is located about 3 inches below the belly button and can often be described as the center of self. So it's the place where creative expression can live, where oftentimes we might be feeling, if it's out of balance, might not be feeling so great about ourselves. So we're just going to begin to explore the shapes in that chakra throughout our practice. With everything, I just want to remind you that you're the authority in your body, so do what feels best for you. Always take what you need. If I call something and you're like, that just doesn't feel good to me, let me know, and if there's a way I can help you adjust, I will. But also, if you're like, I'm just going to do something else because that's what I need, please do that. With all of my practices, you'll notice too that I am not the perfect teacher. I encourage imperfection, and I hope you will embrace that and just listen to your body and be where you're at. So enough of that, enough of me talking. I'm going to invite you to get started on your backs this evening. Feel free to bring your knees to the sky if you'd like, or even place your pillow or maybe even your pillow blanket combo underneath your knees. I do recommend keeping your head and neck on the ground, but again, if there's any challenges or any extra tightness in the neck or the head where something soft under it could feel really good, please do that if you need to. So I'm going to invite the bell to bring us into our space and bring us into our practice. Beginning to arrive here on your mat, in your space. I invite you to take several deep, slow breaths in through the nose, and then exhale to open the mouth, sigh it out, let it go. You can even make this an audible breath if that calls to you. Full, slow breath in, and a full, slow breath out. Continuing along that path, just letting your breath return to its natural rhythm. Beginning to orient yourself in space and time. Space being here, and the time being now. As you settle into your mat, I invite you to acknowledge what brought you here tonight. Any challenges that have come up, any objections that have come up, anything that you might be bringing with you onto the mat, may have brought you to the mat, or may have tried to stop you from coming to the mat. Let's take a moment to acknowledge them. And remember that it's not always easy to make it to our practice on our mat. And then as you're ready, start to bring your awareness to your low belly. Option to place your hands on your low belly if you'd like. Option to continue to let your hands rest by your side. Begin to notice the gentle rise of the inhale, and the gentle fall of the exhale. Starting to observe how the breath is traveling through the body. What are the qualities the breath is exhibiting tonight? So is it shallow or heavy? Does it feel free to move in the way that it would like to move? Does it feel stuck? Does it feel rested, at peace? Does it maybe feel a little jumpy or anxious? As you just start to name the qualities of the breath, remember there's no right or wrong answer. Just want to begin to observe, begin to note how we're feeling. As I mentioned earlier, our sacral chakra is located about 3 inches below the belly button in our pelvis. It's also associated with the element water. So I invite you to begin to imagine the breath as water moving in and out through the nose and the body, traveling to our pelvis, to our hips, flowing through the body. Whether it's a gentle current or maybe a more rocky current. What happens when you invite that sensation into your body? You draw the breath down to that place of our sacral chakra. As you bring awareness there, what do you notice is starting to come up? This is the place where creative expression lives, where we begin to truly feel like the most complete in ourselves in a lot of ways. So maybe today it's in balance, maybe today it's slightly off balance or completely out of balance. Just acknowledge that and note that. And then as you're ready, hands can stay on low belly or they can return to your sides. I invite you just to start to broaden your awareness. Noting the weight of your body on the mat, the temperature in the room, and how that feels on your skin. And any physical tightness or openness that is showing up in the body. And note where it's showing up. Is it showing up in the hips, in the low back, in the neck, in the shoulders, in the chest? Try not to change anything, control anything. Just note. Become aware. And then as you're ready, start to bring your awareness to your heart space. Acknowledging the emotions that are showing up on your mat. Feel free to name the emotions. Maybe you just name one of how you're feeling today. How life is going at the moment. And again, no right or wrong answer. There's no prerequisite that says this has to be a very positive, beautiful experience. Sometimes it can get a little gritty. That's okay. Might begin to notice the connection between the emotions and the physical body. Where are the emotions showing up? How is that impacting the tightness? Is the tightness due to something you're feeling? And then as you're ready, we're going to bring our focus to the space between the eyes, our third eye center, seat of our intuition. I invite you to check in with your thoughts, with the mind. Notice what's happening mentally. Is it a lot of thoughts grabbing for your attention? Or things started to slow down a bit? Maybe there's something in between there. Is it one particular thought maybe that just keeps pounding its way forward, trying to grab your attention? And again, just establishing the connection. How is that manifesting itself, maybe emotionally and or physically? Remember, these are things we'll be continually exploring throughout our practice. So if something doesn't come up right away or an answer doesn't happen, that's okay. Just be open to the possibility as the shapes maybe release energy or bring back into balance our second chakra. Start to draw the connection between mind, body, and breath. By drawing a gentle awareness back to the natural rhythm of the breath. Softly breathing in through the nose, feeling the flow of natural water, the energy of that element enter into the body. And feeling the water move throughout the body as if you had your own streams. Using this time to set an intention or focus for your practice. From here, we're going to stay on our backs. Go ahead and move any props you may have underneath your knees off to the sides. Make this as big of a movement or small of movement, this movement as you need. And just take a moment to observe the differences between the right and the left. In particular, around your hips. Our first shape is going to target our psoas, which is a deep muscle in the abdominal that connects from the ribs down to the hips. And it can affect our walking and how we sit. So it's really deep, but just notice the differences between left and right. And then based on which side might need a little bit more attention or love right now, that's the side I'm going to recommend that you start on. This is always your choice. I'm just going to start on my left, but feel free to start on your right. As you're ready, bring your knee of choice into your chest, interlacing your fingers and placing them a little bit below the knee. I like to make sure that the thigh and the knee are on the outside of the rib cage. And this will come in particularly handy if you just had a big meal right beforehand. If you place your thigh right on the belly after eating, that might not be so comfortable. So make yourself comfortable. You can even move some of your belly over a bit here. And we're just going to use our interlaced hands to bring some pressure, gentle pressure, to our leg, pressing into our psoas. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. Notice where you might be holding tension, particularly in the feet, in the hips. See if you can send your breath, the flow of your energy to that spot to help release that gripping that could be occurring in your body. As you start to settle into the shape may feel comfortable or easy to you, or the shape may be more challenging today, just depending again on how you're showing up. Our emotions and our mental state do play a role in how the shapes manifest themselves in the bodies on any given day. That's why there's no right or wrong. But as you're here and you're thinking to yourself, gosh, this shape was easier maybe on Friday or last week, I invite you to start to tune into the affirmation, I am whole and complete. Remembering that no matter where we're at, we are whole and complete. If there's another affirmation or even mantra that calls to you that you've been working with, please feel free to take that instead. As you tune into your breath, the duration of this shape, I invite you to notice the sensations that are occurring in the body. For the last half, I'm going to remain silent so you fully have a chance to listen to yourself. Taking a deep breath in and out. On your next exhale, we're going to stack this shape right on top of the neck. We're going to take our leg that was bent and cross it over the body, coming into our twist here. Arms can be out long. Arms can cactus. Maybe bring your hands to your belly. Feel free to prop up your knee if you'd like, using a pillow or a block or even your blanket. And pay attention to your back here. Maybe it'll feel good to bring your bolster, blanket, or pillow just along the back to give you a little support. If twisting doesn't feel good in the body, because we are just trying to twist from the mid-spine, there's no real good alternative for a twist, but what we can do with our knee that was open is we can bring it out to the side almost in a half frog. And I'll show it in a different way. So when we're here, maybe you bring it out here. So you're just stretching the leg in a different fashion, one that doesn't involve the twist. Okay. Totally up to you, your choice. We're going to be here for about 4 minutes. Thank you, Chuck. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. As you're ready, maybe using your hand to bring your knee back over. Take any movement that feels good, that calls to you here. And then as you're ready, straightening out the legs, you're going to move into your other side. So gently interlacing your fingers, placing it directly below your knee. And then again, thinking of moving the space outside the ribs. Be here for 3 minutes. So noting any differences between the two sides. Please forgive me, I can't stay on my back too much longer. I'm getting kicked from the inside. So I'm going to sit and guide you through this shape. Breathing here, close your eyes. What do you notice is coming up in your body? What is manifesting itself from this shape? Is it ease? Is it other emotions? Is the mind able to start to calm as you focus on your breath? And loosen any gripping that isn't serving you. So in the feet, maybe even in the shoulders or in the back. And if it doesn't want to loosen easily, it's just something to explore and take note of. Maybe these tight muscles are compensating for another area in the body that is extra tight. And that could use a little love and attention. Maybe it's where you're holding an emotion or feeling. There's no right or wrong place to hold anything. You just notice it. And on your next exhale, begin to draw your knee over across the body. If the twist is calling to you, or if it needs to come out to the same side into our on the back half frog, feel free to take that, our prone half frog. Using any props you need, propping up your knee, placing a blanket, bolster, or pillow along the back, whatever feels best for you. Notice how your breath changes in this shape. And continue to check in with yourself. What sensations are you noticing? Talk for the first minute of this, so you've got about 3 minutes left. Don't focus on the time. Reminding yourself with your breath, I am whole and complete. And from here, on your next breath, just roll onto your side, pausing for a moment, curling up in a nice ball, using your hands or your forearm as a pillow. Pause and check back in and notice how you feel. And then as you're ready, gently finding your way up to a comfortable seat. So I'm going to come into a forward fold of your choice. The goal is to target the low back, but that again can manifest itself for different people in different ways. And forward folds also have a calming effect. Again, this being a Sunday, it's going into a week. Hopefully, we can bring that with us. So, first option is a caterpillar pose, legs out nice and straight. Option to sit up on your block pillow or blanket. Excuse me, the chunk. I'm gonna take my blanket. My assistant over here, keeping my props nice and warm. I'm gonna sit up on a blanket just to give my hips a little bit more of a tilt. And then just start to walk forward here. Let your back round. And you may feel a sensation more along the legs or in the hamstrings, and even along the back. Head and arms can be, head can be resting in the hands in the TV watching look or the iBoard look, your preference. And you can even use a block here for your head if you like, or you can use your pillow or your bolster. So that's option one. If you're like, I'm in it, I don't need another option, this is great, we'll stay here. Option two is going to be a butterfly pose. And what's really great about this pose, I think, in a physical sense, is that it doesn't require hamstrings to get into the low back. And one of the ways I personally found to get into the low back is to bring my feet a little farther away from the body and more of like a diamond shape. And then allowing my body to almost flop forward and the back to round. Feel free to place blocks underneath the knees. And again, sit up on something. Finding your anterior tilt of the pelvis, so that forward tilt of the pelvis can make a big difference in where you feel the sensation. And so you might need to sit on a blanket or a pillow just to help find that. And that's great. Always feel free to go up to a wall too if you want to scooch your bum up there. That can also provide a little additional support for you as well. So these are your choices. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So take all of these shapes with ease. And come back to your breath. As we're folding forward, you may notice a difference in your breath. Part of that is primarily because as we fold forward, we're crunching our diaphragm a bit. So it's going to have to work a little bit harder to breathe. Sometimes that can be really good because we want to strengthen our diaphragm so we can breathe deeper, but that might feel a little bit uncomfortable tonight, again, due to all the factors you've already started to establish in your own body. So come out of it a little bit and then let other parts of the body start to open up so you can create more space for yourself. The great thing about yin is there's no particular place you have to be at the end of each shape. So it's all individual. So really work with that. The other thing is we are folding and focusing on the hips, so we are getting into our second chakra. What do you notice by putting a little bit of pressure there, sending a little bit more attention there? Even as you're holding the shape, how can you make the shape your own? Find ways to express yourself in the shape. And I will let you be for the remainder of the time. On your next exhale, slowly start to come on up. Take your time. Make any movement that calls to you or find stillness. So you might notice that movement, gentle, mindful movement is what you need because there's still some energy that wants to move, but it might be stuck. Or you might find that stillness is what you need to let that energy resettle and reopen. So take your time. We've got about another 30 seconds or so for you to take whatever you need before we come into our next shape. My assistant's not going to be too happy with me because I'm going to have to move her in a minute. Fingers crossed she doesn't hate me afterward. I'm going to invite us into and guide us into deer pose, but also thinking of a heart opener. So we can go into our week leading from the heart, feeling maybe a bit more open, and then also opening up the front part of our legs, in particular the tension fascia lata, two places that when we're feeling unbalanced in our sacral chakra can be in our psoas, which we've already targeted, and then in our tension fascia lata. Those tend to be the main energy hubs physically. It could manifest itself in other ways too, but those tend to be the two. So, excuse me, I need this. Thank you. It's very warm. So depending on what type of props you have, if you have like a really thick bolster or a bunch of pillows you can stack up, but you don't have blocks, that's totally fine because you can use the stacking of the pillows. If you've got blocks, or even if you want to bring out your pots or pans, you can stack them up too. We're trying to create a ramp here for our head. This will take just a little bit of setup. And then once you set it up, you'll be able to use it for roughly both sides. One for the head. I like to place one vertically for in between my shoulder blades. You can always do it horizontally and go just below the scapula or your shoulder blades. It's up to you. And then again, if you have a bunch of pillows, maybe you stack them up, or if you've just got one, you take it, create a ramp, plop it on top. So I like the tallest option, which is where I feel good at. So for deer pose, I'm going to demonstrate on my right. Feel free to start on your left. Bringing your right foot behind you. Foot can be directly on the ground, so top of the foot can rest on the ground, or you can even have the ankle out a little bit. And depending on the floor that you're on or the thickness of your mat, you may want to take your towel or your blanket and place it underneath your ankle joint. Your opposite foot will come in to meet the leg here. So if you were in like a tree pose situation, it does not have to perfectly touch. It can be out a little bit. So as you start to find that first part of the shape in your body, stay here if you're like, yes, I feel the stretch. Or you can begin to come down onto our ramp contraction, the part that's going to help us open up the heart, open up the chest. You can even lower your blocks down the next level, or maybe just come directly onto the pillow. Being here. If you're laughing at me right now because you're like, KJ, my body's not doing that. Don't worry. Take away the whole contraption and just grab your blocks at whatever height feels good, and either place your hands on the blocks or your forearms on the blocks. Still finding the opening of the chest, but the support that you'll need so you can be in this shape comfortably. Okay? So find what works best for you. I will look at the chat for a second, so if you need extra support or anything like that, let me know. Happy to provide that. But we're going to hang out here for a bit. All right? If you're feeling any pressure in the knee at all, please get out of this shape. Knee pain is not worth it. Knee surgery is very expensive. And again, we can take this shape completely on the belly, targeting the same thing. You just come onto the belly, reach your towel or even a strap if you have it around the ankle, and then bending at the foot, kind of bring it closer to you. And again, I'll watch the chat if you need that option. Don't hesitate to ask. And then on your next exhale, slowly use your hands to take your time and find your way up. That might mean rolling onto the side more or coming straight up to you. Take what you need. So depending on how tight that front part of the leg was, you might need to work it out, or lubricate the knee a little bit. Keep everything right where it's at if you'd like, or adjust, and we'll move to the other side. So your opposite leg behind you, your front leg will come into your half butterfly, half tree pose, and then feel free to start back. You'll notice differences between the sides. That's okay. Again, depending on the patterns that are established in your body, whether you're sitting all day, maybe you're a runner or you've been doing bar classes or anything like that, all of that is going to impact the fascia and how it's showing up. As I said in the beginning, and I'll say it again till the cows come home, our emotions and how we're showing up mentally have an impact on the shapes as well. So don't discount those, don't discount your feelings, don't discount what you're going through. If it might be a little harder to get into one side than the other. All these things play a factor. I'll see you in a little bit. And then as you're ready, on your next exhale, either rolling off to the side or coming straight up. It's up to you. Take any movements that you might need. As we move into Savasana on your time, feel free to keep your upper body set up and maybe just lean back into that. Legs can be extended out long or soles of the feet can touch. This might be a nice time to even move to a wall and bring your legs straight up the wall, changing the flow of blood in the body and just changing the effect. You may choose to come onto your belly, onto your side. You can move to a couch just for a little extra cushion. But wherever you decide, let it be exactly what you need tonight and what nobody else needs or what you think you should be doing. As you start to come into this space, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath in through the nose and exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out, let it go. Bringing your focus to your feet, either turning off the muscles because they're ready to turn off or taking a chance just to squeeze the feet and the toes and the ankles and the calves. And then on an exhale, let it go. From here, just moving up into the upper legs, into the hips, taking a moment to send a little gratitude toward our hips, but squeezing them oh so tight, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs, squeezing the hips, and then letting go. As you move up into your abdomen, your ribs, your belly, your back, squeeze it all tight and release. So we'll move to the arms, squeeze your hands like you're squeezing out the last little bit of juice in a lemon. It's a really tough lemon. Squeeze, engage the arms in that squeeze. And release, feeling them grow heavy and relax. I invite you to bring your shoulders up to yours, really scrunch them, scrunching the neck, scrunching the shoulders, feeling that tension. And then sigh it out, let it go. From here, squeeze your face. Again, like you had that lemon you just squeezed, all that lemon juice that you just squeezed out, you just took a sip of, ooh, really tight, and release. Feeling the jaw move away from the hinges, maybe even the teeth parting from one another. Sides of the eyes relaxing, the forehead relaxes, and the head grows heavy. Let your mind begin to soften as the ground, the wall, the props hold you up. You are here. Begin to reawaken your senses, deepening your breath if you'd like, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe even rocking your head back and forth. In your time, in your space, start to make your way to a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. No rush. Take your time. As you do find your comfortable seat, pause for a moment. Pause just to check back in and notice how you feel. What are you able to carry with you as you continue your practice off the mat? What do you need to leave here that is no longer serving you? As we lift our hands to our heart space, we take a moment to honor the stewards of the land who come before us. We honor the indigenous teachers from South Asia, from Africa, who brought us this ancient practice. We continue to teach it today, and we are grateful that we may learn from them. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Sunday night. Hi, Mom. And I will talk to you all later.